Hello, once again, I'm Brian Sapinski from Lost and Silver Productions, and this is the game show Talkin' Fun Lightning Round. We are back to school, everybody is back in session, and it is exhausting. It's only week one. But hey, no rest for the weary, we've got news to give you this week. This week was a double win for fans of the classic game shows of yesteryear. We'll start with the bigger news that's in TV first. Now, there are some of you around the country that may not have heard that there is now a second classic game shows channel that exists. It's called Buzzer. The reason why you haven't heard of it still doesn't air in all parts of the country yet. And for those places where it does air, you may or may not have heard about some lamenting that some of the hardcore game show fans have about the channel and what they feel has been a slow start to how they have presented themselves since the channel launched in June of 2015. Now, how they conduct their operation is a conversation best saved for another time. We'll probably do that on a future episode of Game Show Talkin' Fun itself. But in spite of everything, the channel has achieved a major TV milestone during this week. Fremantle Media's international division has inked a deal with Canadian network Yes TV to bring the classics to the Great White North. Starting this week, Yes will carry Buzzer from Monday through Friday for 3 hours at 1 a.m. with Buzzer After Hours. The block will fittingly feature shows currently run on the American version that are hosted by Canadian game show hosts, such as Jim Perry's Card Sharks and Sale of the Century, Monty Hall's Beat the Clock, and Alex Trebek's Double Dare, as well as the Black and White Classics. Now, while this may not sound like a whole lot, given the time slot, 1 a.m. in the morning, there is one thing to consider here. Buzzer now becomes the first digital multicast cable network to ever reach Canadian television. That's a pretty huge step, so Fremantle has really achieved some history here. And hey, we can only hope that in spite of all the fuss that the hardcores have, maybe this could be the start of bigger and better things for the channel. And of course, if it does, we're going to be the ones that reap all the rewards and benefits. So cross your fingers and hope that this leads to something more. Meanwhile, it's not just the classics that are on TV today that are making news. Now, those people who know quite a bit about television are aware of the fact that there's a significant portion of TV history that aired dating back to prior to as recently as 1980 no longer exists today due to a practice called wiping that was done by the main three networks, because they were the only three networks at the time. So there are a lot of shows going back then that were totally erased because there was no way to archive or save them, and thus you can't see those shows anymore. Even the first 10 years of Johnny Carson's Tonight Show were susceptible to this wiping practice, and that's a fact that Johnny made a note of on the Tonight Show many times on anniversary specials and things like that. Well, every once in a while, in spite of many shows being wiped, and that of course includes game shows, sometimes somebody on YouTube comes along that makes the fans feel very, very lucky. Last month, YouTuber Million Colors of Light gave everyone a surprise with the July 4th, 1975 episode of the original High Rollers. This version has only a couple of episodes still in existence that until now only existed in TV museum archives on both coasts. But now you can finally see it for yourself, complete with the very different rules, actress Ruta Lee doing all the rolling of the dice as she did in the day, and of course, the bushiest Alex Trebek you will ever see in your life. Could you imagine if he still managed this look on Jeopardy today? Well, after soaking this in for a few weeks now, it appears that lightning has struck again thanks to YouTuber Sparkler. This time, the gem now comes in the form of Second Chance, known to many as the original version of my all-time favorite show, Press Your Luck. It came from the same producers, too, even, if you never knew. With only the third pilot episode available to the public eye for years, the first regular episode of the series finally appeared on YouTube in 2012 and had everyone buzzing, followed a year later by the audio recording of the final episode of the series. But this episode that Sparkles posted this week is a major gem, primarily because of its video quality. Just look at this still. This is pristine, folks. For that alone, go watch this episode and appreciate it in all its visual glory. There are many blogs and news sites that devote some or a lot of time to our genre, some with honesty and lightheartedness, others with scathing disdain. Well, one site that promises to never take itself seriously is the Onion's AV Club. And this week, writer Alex McCown Levy decided to share his tale of traveling to the Chicago auditions for Let's Make a Deal. It's a goofy read, as you might expect, but it has an honest charm on its own. Definitely worth the read. Go check it out. Well, this is it. Summer is over, and that means the new fall seasons are ready to start cranking into gear, and that includes our game shows as well. Just to help keep a little track for you, this week, starting on Monday the 12th, will be the season premieres for Family Feud, the big two, Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, and Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. And next week on the 19th is when Celebrity Name Game, The Price is Right, and Let's Make a Deal will start their fall seasons. Personally, for me, I'm crossing my fingers and hoping that Who Wants to Be a Millionaire survives this trip to Vegas and gets a new life in the 2017-2018 season to follow. I know, though, it's going to be a bit of a climb because ever since last year, the time slots are still a rough issue in several parts of the country, especially here in New York, because we only now have one airing, and it's going to be on ABC Channel 7 at 1:35 in the morning. They had the same time slot last year, but we also had a local Channel 10 that was doing a double run at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. We don't have that anymore, so even the New York area, it's going to be rough for people to watch and get the ratings or whatever. Hopefully people around the country watching this, if it's airing at a better time for you and you really like the show, watch it to death. Help save the show. But that's, of course, entirely up to you. I know I can't twist any arms. So which show are you most looking forward to seeing again in New Run? Or whatever the case is, let us know in the comments section below. And also, we hope that you look forward to seeing us here on Game Show Talk and Fun. We're going to do our next podcast episode with the new YouTube podcasting system, which we're going to be figuring out in the next several days. That episode will be on Friday night at 8 p.m. on September 23rd. We're still debating a topic right now at this moment, so probably by the time you see the next lightning rounds this coming weekend, you'll see exactly what it is that we're going to be talking about, and it'll be advertised at the top of Lost Silver Productions YouTube channel, which we encourage you to like, share, and subscribe, not just this video, but subscribe to the channel as a whole. And also, please, of course, find us on Facebook.com/Lost Silver Productions. And if you could help it, please, we would really love it if you guys would chip into our Patreon at patreon.com/Lost Silver. Until then, my name is Brian Sapinski from Lost Silver Productions, and you have survived the lightning round. We'll see you soon.